I like video games, but they're very violent. I want to design a video game in which you have to take care of all the people who've been shot in the other games. Hey man, what are you playing? Super Busy Hospital? If you could leave me alone, it's pretty serious. I'm in surgery right now. This guy was shot in the head 57 times.
TalkRadar 39, wow. Wow. GamesRadar.com's exclusive podcast. Mm-hmm. Exclusive only to the internet. You're welcome. Hi, everybody.
I've heard there's a print version of the podcast coming out in the next
Yes.
Yeah.
You laugh, but Ricky Gervais did just that.
Did he really?
Yes.
Really?
You can buy a transcript of his podcast.
That sounds terrible.
He's that good. Who was
Thank you, Gutenberg.
He invented the podcast.
He did.
I heard he invented the Bible.
He did, and Police Academy.
That was Steve Gutenberg. Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
And who do we have as a guest? A regular almost.
Yeah, sort of. It's been a while. I'm Scott Butterworth. I'm the assistant editor of PlayStation Push Magazine. I just waved at no one.
I
see me.
I don't have a cue for you, but this is the only thing I could pull out with very short notice.
Who's the boy that can laugh in a storm cloud, turn a frown into a smile for free? Who's the kid with a heart full of magic? Everyone knows it's Butter.
You're kind of a douche, but that was also pretty
I know. This is what happens when I don't have time to edit things.
No, it's fine. I see your true feelings come out.
I really don't understand how you can tolerate that nickname, Scott.
It doesn't bother me. It's really the tolerating that my last name is actually Butterworth. That gets to me more than the nickname.
It sucks because I have a clip of Vin Diesel complimenting your last name, and we're not allowed to use it.
I know, it's such a bummer. I
Really? Yes.
For everyone in internet land, I
have it right here.
Yeah, but they said we're not. I don't think it was even the video game company that said we couldn't play it. I think it was like Vin Diesel's handlers.
He sounded tired or really drunk.
I think he was really tired.
Because he joked about not being able to drink, so I assume he wasn't drunk.
Yeah.
But then
he was definitely not drunk. He was like, yeah, I've been doing this all day, and like
Scott was
Fast and Furious.
To reenact it, Scott was like, yeah, that's my real name, Butterworth. Like the syrup, baby. Vin Diesel. I do a good Vin Diesel. I'm sorry, we didn't get done introducing everybody else in the room.
Michael Raparo's PlayStation editor.
Dude.
Brady Pod, Nintendo Pods. That was informative.
Elston Pods.
That's better.
Shane Patapon, Associate Feature Pod.
Caster.
That's the last time it's called attention, and it clearly doesn't mean what it says.
That's punctuation. Good sound effect, though.
Yeah, well, it's going away. We got to make room for this one. Shane, how was your weekend?
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back on track. And who are you?
I don't know. How come I don't have a cool nickname?
Cranstopher is Tista.
Cranstopher is Tista?
Telling you. Oh, I know a great nickname or nursery rhyme of you when you were younger in school. Chrysantista.
Don't say it.
I won't finish it. Smells like pizza.
Come on, man. I kicked the kid's ass for saying that.
I can't believe nobody calls you Fruitista.
Fruitista. That drink had yet to come out. That was like 1998.
Well, no, but every time I go to Taco Bell, there's the big try the strawberry Fruitista.
Try the Fruitista.
I already know.
I was called Antista Ballista, and
what about Conquistador?
For a time, Big C Bitch Splitter, and
made that up.
And
you were Bitch Splitter?
And the Garbage Man. The Garbage Man.
And Left Eye.
Both of those intertwine. I know Spicules is listening right now and laughing his head off. He's in our forums, I can say that. Yeah, I did not have time to prepare Prepares. I did not have time to prepare a lot today because
do we have a Prepares sound effect?
I just want to hit the dolphin.
Why would we have that sound effect? Why is that a word?
Because it works.
You say so.
Then.
Jesus. Thank you.
How's that?
Shane. I was going to segue into me shepherding young children this week, but I'll talk about that later. Ooh, and we have some contest updates, so you're going to want to stay tuned for those. They may involve free games. There you go. Monday, President's Day. Speaking of which,
Wait my bitch, nigga. Buy your own damn fries.
that is sorry, Scott. That's actually Obama.
That's our president.
That's our president from his
United
audiobook.
States.
Scott, you work at which magazine?
PlayStation, the official one.
What do you have going up on the cover this month?
The next issue that's coming out is the 150 games that are coming in the next whenever year and a half.
We have a top 7.
Why are you booing that?
Because we have a top 7, and that was me trying to make a segue by booing P-Tom. Tell Rob I'm sorry. But what was our top 7 this week?
It was the worst games in games.
Yeah.
Can you call this metagaming?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll call it metagaming.
No?
No?
I always thought that metagaming referred to, like, some sort of larger game that the game
I
is
know.
playing.
The larger games are the ones we're not talking about.
I
The
see.
little games inside.
Games you have to play inside of a game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Usually to ill effect.
Often have to. Like, can't be avoided.
Yeah.
Number 7, I thought you could avoid, for the most part, Jedi Card Tricks, the Pazak card game in Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah, Pazak.
That's
it's
sort of
been
the problem
forever
with talking about games that suck because it's like it's hard to be enthusiastic. It's like, yeah, this game.
Oh
wasn't-
no! If I could totally hate on it, it's just that I went through KOTOR. I went through it twice, but I went through it twice in 2003.
Right.
So I don't really remember. I remember it made sense to me. It was very much a loathing. I do not want to do this more than I have to. It reminded me similar of a game I can't believe is not in here. Is Final Fantasy VIII's card game.
Oh yeah, because you actually had to play that.
You had to play that a lot in the game,
Yeah.
and it was terrible.
It
and
was.
I didn't think so. I liked it.
Well,
Really?
You know what? You know what?
No, you want to boo?
I
Shane,
do.
do you want to boo or do you want to cheer?
Cheer.
It's good to be boo. It's the cacophony of bullshit.
I don't care. I know
Words.
Brett hates that game. I like that game. It's cool. We differ.
We differ.
That's not the same as Tetramaster, is it?
It's close. Wait, is that the one in 8 or is that 9?
No. That was
Tetramaster came out alongside 11, the MMO.
Oh my God, KOTOR! What happened, people?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, that's right. We
Yeah,
were
I don't
talking
know.
about a game.
It was an exceptional RPG. It was a great game, and then your goal is to hit 20. It's like space blackjack. And
But
it's
I
just-
didn't play Jedi Outcast, and everything I remember being sold to me as seeing the picture of that card game, like
Jedi
I
Outcast.
Yeah, where did that is an entirely
oh
different game.
KOTOR.
There we
Sorry,
go.
Ah, number 7.
I have not read the article. If you can't
Apparently
Well,
not.
do you recognize nouns?
Titles of games?
tell. Sure, I could have thrown out any Final Fantasy name. We could have continued the last conversation. We can move on, or we can stick on to this. Either way, it, like
I say
Does
we
that-
move on.
I go, yeah.
Yeah.
What comes after 7?
6.
Oh yeah.
No, after 7 is 8. Sorry, article's over.
Crap. Okay, before 7.
hate all of you.
Final Fantasies or the top 7? Which one are we talking about?
I like Final Fantasy 4. Number 6 is, and Charlie, too bad Charlie's not here. Too bad he's petting a raccoon or whatever it is. he's doing.
I can talk about this.
Space Quest 3, Pirate of Pestilon, and Space
Pirates. Pirates of
Space
Pestilon.
Quest 4, Rhaegar, Wilco, and the Time Warpers.
Yep.
Wow. Sure you couldn't squeeze a couple more nouns in there?
Basically, you're playing Astro Chicken and Mrs. Astro Chicken. I don't know, Michael?
Wasn't that funny that they added the Miz?
I thought it was. I thought it was funny.
I've never played these
Yeah,
games.
The image in the article I thought was funny.
I never actually played Astro Chicken. I did play Ms. Astro Chicken more than I'd like to admit. That was just like fly along, I think, from right to left and hit the space bar to drop eggs on things.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, it was sort of like Gradius with no guns and only missiles, if that makes any sense.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Except with chickens.
That brings me to something I'll bring up at the end.
It's not as cool as Super Alfred Chicken. I'll have you know.
That's
Super
true.
Alfred Chicken. Good God.
Again, it's the kind of game I wish Charlie were here because he could explain in great detail about Space Quest and Gabriel.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad he's in here.
Space Quest was a great series of games about being a janitor in space, but you had to save the universe over and over again. And Ms. Astro Chicken was especially cool because if I remember right, it was set in like this huge mall where you had to walk around and drag.
I'm gonna take a nap.
That does sound like a lot of fun.
Look, you were just saying, oh, it's too bad Charlie's not here to give context.
I'm not complaining. I wanted the insight. I really did.
Yes, I'm glad. It's too bad Charlie's not here to bore me to suicide. Ancient PC
I can
games.
bore you to tears. That's close.
Bore me to tears. Suicide is different. Bore me to castration.
Number 5. Mass Effect and High Stakes Quasar, which I actually didn't think was that bad. I played quite a bit of that.
What don't you like about Mass Effect, Brett?
Pretty much nothing.
There you go. Not the
Except,
right person.
except the fact that it crashed on me 7 times.
Except that it ended. That's what Brett hates. But then there was DLC.
Jump to Lightspeed. It's really good.
That's a different game.
There we go. One person. I got
Good
one
eye
person.
outcast.
It's all worth it. It's all worth it.
Inappropriately loud laughter.
I liked High Stakes Quasar. First of all, it's very unobtrusive. I think there's maybe one mission where you had to play it, and it might have been a side quest. I can't recall. It's a very unobtrusive game. The interface is very clean. I didn't think it was terrible. If they had forced it on you more, it would have been really obnoxious. But, I don't know. Anybody else go through Mass Effect ever?
I'm playing it right now. Which
Isn't
is
it
out behind
great?
The times. It is really good. It's like I put it off forever. I think I actually talked about this last time I was on the podcast. So, hey everyone, continuity. I'm now playing that game that I talked about never having played. And it's really good.
This is happening.
I'll let you know when I get to Quasar.
I actually just read the Mass Effect novel, and it was really good.
Oh, Christ.
Really?
No, you say "Good Christ." It's written by the
Shane
author.
just pantomimed a blowjob. I want everybody to know that.
It's written by the lead writer of KOTOR and Mass Effect. The story is just as good as the game.
God,
Do you
I wish you
imagine
could pull
David's
quotes at a
voice?
former podcast. Writer.
Right.
He's writing for a game. Is that not? Whatever.
Anyway,
You were trashing game novelists.
I know. I expected it to be terrible, and it wasn't. It's the one case where it wasn't.
And it wasn't. Mass Effect, a game I will finish as soon as I can figure out how to get past Benezia, which I believe I played in front of you and Eric. I'm like, you should do this. Didn't work. I went to her first apparently, and that really messed me up. Like I can't leave.
I wouldn't think it should mess you up, but I guess I don't know if the bosses scale to you. Like if they're
I would
weaker.
assume they would, but like
I would assume.
Eric was watching me. He's like, "What's going on? Like you can't do anything." I'm like, "I know. I've been doing this for days. I really like this game."
Because I think when you get there, you're supposed to have a lot of biotics and powers and stuff, and maybe
I never touched my biotics.
I didn't with the lead character. I had the 2 people you're with learn all that
I
stuff.
let that girl with the gas.
What
man.
class did you pick?
I don't remember. Let's not get on a mass.
What's number
Okay,
4?
sorry.
Number 4.
Moving on.
Basketball.
Basketball.
That's
Yeah.
Dead Space 0G basketball, which
Doesn't matter because there's Harlem Globetrotters music playing.
It's true. Did anybody else? Okay, I think a couple of you guys have played this game. Was anybody else really shocked when they found it? Like, this is weird. There's a basketball mini game in the middle of my
strangely
board.
incongruous. It's like I'm stuck in the middle of a ship full of monsters. My character's probably terrified out of his mind.
Oh, this looks like a lark.
Yeah, let's stop and play some basketball for a few hours to get
Yeah.
an
But I
achievement.
mean, I didn't hate it for that though. It was terribly inappropriate, but I was kind of like,
I didn't hate.
to be fair, it's a gigantic spaceship. Of course, there's going to be a recrecreational area if they're living on this thing.
Sure, yeah.
I understand why it's there. It's just a terrible game to play.
Did anybody disagree with this entry?
No.
Good, because I fucking wrote this. This is mine. This is mine because I was livid when I got because I hate having to say this again. I was playing on a harder difficulty that I immediately regretted. You have to kill about 1,000 of those those little muskrats with like 3 tentacles.
Yeah.
In this small environment where they're coming from everywhere. They're died a billion times. By the time I finished it, I haven't been able to level up my kinesis.
Yeah.
What would you call it? It was like trying to lasso butterflies. First of all, trying to get the ball, and then like trying to get it back by the time the gate closed, like the space age idiotic game of whack-a-mole.
I agree that it's a totally asinine game. However, it's entirely optional. Like, even if you win, you don't even get that pool of stuff. That was a terrible sentence.
Not for an achievement hole.
True,
I knew it
but
was
that's
there.
your own fault. So
I had to play it. No, not only did I have to play it, but like worse was getting clearing the room, which I knew was super.
But they had to make an achievement out of it because they knew you weren't going to play it otherwise.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that clearing the room is bad only because you were playing on hard. Because I did it on normal and there were like 3 enemies in the room.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to trash Dead Space because Dead Space was maybe my favorite game of last year.
Really? That is a bold claim.
Yeah. Well, I haven't played Fallout 3 yet. But we just heard that Dead Space is going over onto Wii.
Yeah.
And I wanted
that'll work.
I wanted to serve up. I wanted to serve up a mighty warning if they were thinking of putting any other pace-ruining, idiotic mini games.
Well, it's a prequel and in first person.
Yeah. What are you gonna have? A food horde? Oh, board up the doors! The aliens are coming through.
It just sounds like a new Umbrella Chronicles to me.
Yeah.
Number 3!
Number 3 is GTA for having the most bad games per square foot.
Yeah.
They crawled from Uranus, Go-Go Space Monkey, Let's Get Ready to Bumble! And Duality. Which I didn't play any of these games.
I played all of them. And I love that about what GTA gets away with is having a lot of mediocre elements, but a lot of wildly different ones.
Yes.
Yep.
So it like there's something to appeal to a bunch of different people. Like, well, the shooting's not that good, but there's arcade games and bikes and stunts.
You know, I honestly thought that San Andreas did that better than 4. Like, it had just more options, more stuff to do. And I think that Saints Row kind of won, at least in this category.
It did, but I think GTA made the wise choice not to go Saints Row because Saints Row.
No, it wouldn't have worked. I mean,
Saints Row is ridiculous. Like, I don't care about any of those characters. I care
Exactly.
about Nico and
yeah, I never said that Saints Row was a better game. I just think that in the stuff to do category,
and Johnny, get my bike. No. Played the Lost and the Dern.
I have.
Day.
Although I will say, Lost and Damned, if we had played it before we were writing this feature and we knew about it, we could have included that awful fucking high-low card game. That's
Michael, I haven't. Spoiler, Michael. Spoiled.
It's not a spoiler. It's like right there in the
everything
clubhouse. You're
again.
introduced to it like after the first mission.
This is the closest thing I have to a spoiler button.
that's not even in the neighborhood of a spoiler button.
Yeah, you get a coin.
I don't have anything else right now.
I like coins.
Yeah, it's a card game where you have to predict whether or not the next card will be higher or lower than the one that was just dealt.
Yeah, I know how to play high-low, but
I predict the game sucks.
Lost and Dern. We can
No,
talk about
Lost
that
and
later.
Damned is fine. It's a wonderful game.
I can't even tell you how many letters we've gotten, the people being upset that it's not coming to PS3.
The comments on Michael's review are like, "Have fun with your 360. Hope you choke on it."
There was
pretty
only
funny.
one of those. We can get to that in a minute, though.
Yeah.
Did I say
Let's
all
finish
of
the
those?
top 7 first.
Is anyone blaming P. Tom? Like, why didn't you guys make this?
No, so it's funny that one kid in your comments tried to like blame it on you somehow.
No, he just said, what does he say here?
Choke on it.
Oh, have fun playing it, you MS whores. I have a PS3. Have fun with the Fallout expansions, too, because I'm screwed on those, too. By the way, go fuck yourselves.
By the way,
Oh, and
It's not like you bought a Lynx or a Genesis. You bought the $600 system. Scrounge up $200, get your fucking DLC, and shut your mouth.
well, they shouldn't have to, but I mean, the important thing to realize is like, well, Microsoft didn't pay Rockstar to not make it for PS3. They said, hey, we want you to make some stuff for the 360. Here's some money to fund it.
yeah,
What the
they
hell?
paid
What kind of statement was that? That's exactly what it means.
They paid extra for it. They didn't give them money to something that was already created and say
Yeah.
only come out for us.
It's
They
possible that the DLC
50
wouldn't have
million?
existed
Yeah.
if Microsoft didn't say, "Hey, we'll pay you to make more stuff for us."
Right.
Well,
It was
that's-
like 50
that's
million.
Are
speculation.
you
That's
sure?
what they-
I
that's what
remember reading
Rockstar
about
told
DLC
us
a
that-
long time ago. And
Really?
yes,
Yeah, but it was always
I
going to be a
thought so. That's why
360.
it was such big news when it's like exclusive to the 360 because we all expected DLC.
No, it was always exclusive to 360.
Yeah.
Yeah,
From
because
the
they
beginning.
gave them 50 million. That was the thing.
Yeah.
50 mil?
Was it really that
Yeah.
much?
Yeah.
50 mil.
Ease.
But then again, you mentioned that it's the most highly advertised DLC I've ever seen.
That's good. Yeah, they're advertising it like it's a new game.
Well,
It's
it
that
is.
level.
That's how it differs from all the other DLC. It's like
A little bit, yeah.
Is there really that much content there?
It's like a new Liberty City stories. It's about 8 to 10 hours to get
Okay,
through.
yeah, that's
there's
longer than a lot of games I've played recently. Actually.
new multiplayer modes, which people seem to abandon the old GTA multiplayer pretty quickly, and I was a little disappointed in that.
But it's definitely worth $20. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, no,
I assume
very
it's.
reasonable.
I assume like by November or something that Lost and Damned is going to be a disc for PS3.
Possible. Yeah.
Probably for Wii or PS2.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
All right, number 2. We weren't done talking about Final
We're
Fantasy.
still on the top 7? Good God. Oh my God.
So number 2 in the top 7 worst games in great games is Blitzball in Final Fantasy X.
Ooh, I disagree. I like that game a lot.
Really?
What?
Yep. You know,
Get out of the room.
You know, early on in the game, where you're forced to play that game, and it pretty much sets you up to lose. I played that over and over until I won. And you know what happens? You win. You know what happens? It's the same cutscene, but you're holding a trophy. I'm completely serious. Like everything is the same, but there's a trophy.
So
okay, I just
stopped.
stopped.
Why didn't you stop?
What do you? Why didn't I stop?
Why'd you stop blitzballing, bitch?
Because I enjoyed it.
Oh.
Okay.
I had fun with that. I thought it was.
I had a problem with it because it was still like the first year of PS2. It came out October 2000. This was December 2001, so the system was still fairly new, and it was just a very hard thing at the time to get your head around, like a turn-based 3-dimensional soccer game in water, and you're like, wait,
exactly.
what? You're like, wait, didn't I just watch a cutscene where like the world melted away or something? I really want to know what's happening.
It wasn't.
I don't want to throw a ball at a hole.
It wasn't fun. It was like playing hacky sack in the womb. It was,
Swimming in video games and playing a sport where you're swimming and it's turn-based. Disaster. It's terrible.
Too many axes for 2 analog sticks.
In principle, I'm completely with you. I generally hate swimming in games. Like 99% of the time, I hate it. But for whatever reason,
wait. I think I got the answer to this.
Mm-hmm.
Were you poor?
At the time, relatively speaking, yes, because I didn't have a lot of money to buy games.
So you were stuck with Blitzball the same way I was stuck with Yonoid and Amagon. Because I couldn't play.
Me too. I had like 2 games, and this is what I had. I still knew Blitzball stuff.
All right. Well, I will happily stand alone.
Blitzball is not. Scott's going to write an essay and post it to the forums on what's great about Blitzball. He's going to have a
1,000 words.
That's going to be 10,000 words.
Intro, a conclusion, and 3 supporting points. It's going to be great.
Word by the creator of Blitzball.
I would enjoy a thesis statement at the beginning.
Sure.
What it is you're trying to prove.
I'd like it at the end. Just so that, by the way, that's what this is about.
My thesis statement will
If
actually
you haven't
be
discerned my point,
the
the earlier
first
paragraph.
letter of every line will spell out my thesis statement.
That is creative.
Yeah, that's how I roll. The fun fact of life is that every single paper I wrote in college, the title was either a band name or a song title. Just because I felt like it. That's how moving on, number 1.
On the header band?
What?
Or on the mark?
No, I wasn't nearly that creative. Like the actual title at the top of the page. Not spelled out.
I got news for you. Every single strapline from every video game magazine ever is a band name or music title.
That's probably most.
Too human. More human than human.
More human than human. Changes.
Oh God.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying I was terribly creative. That just came to mind, and I have nothing better to talk about.
Ghostbusters. Busted makes me feel good. Yes.
In 2009?
Yes, it does.
It's a fucking graveyard of old movie references.
All right. Number 1. Give us some.
An exotic zoo of cliches.
As long as you are out there, I'll never be number 1.
I keep forgetting to cut that.
Number 1 is Fable 2's Greedy Cash Grab, Fortune's Tower, Keystone, and Spin-a-Box.
There you go.
I guess that's what? Are these the pub games?
The Fable deal, the pub games, yeah. That was a pretty raw deal.
Yeah.
That was pretty nasty. It was basically like a guessing game to get free coin in a free fake money in an upcoming game.
Yeah,
free
World of
achievements.
Warcraft has taught me anything.
And not only did it work,
it's very valuable.
not only did it work, it was faulty and bad and exploited and essentially ruined any potential they had for online gameplay.
Yeah, but whatever, you know.
Yeah, whatever.
Who cares? We broke the game.
Woo!
Great, yeah. Whatever. It just feels like hackers are the new aristocrat silver spoon kid that I have to get past in order to progress in Fable 2 because I didn't have all the benefits of hacking and getting Xbox Live early. Now this guy gets to be better than me and kick my ass with a shiny sword. I'm drinking.
Hack the planet. That's all we need to say.
Hey, the revolution will not be televised, bro.
Sober podcast.
It's like a Mormon podcast.
Good Christ. Ooh, pub games. It's what I'd like to see because the Xbox Live said they would start deleting unpopular arcade games.
Oh, really?
Pub games has no purpose. Yeah, after Fable 3 has sold its lot.
Fable 2.
What did I say?
Fable 9.
Fable 9.
Fable 9. Fable 9. After Fable Dose. I'm tired. Yeah, don't go away. We're gonna announce some new contest details. Ooh.
Oh, Mike, that's really loud.
Oh, sorry.
That's an excellent. It comes so through crispy, though. It's great.
It's amazingly crisp.
It is. Doesn't like doing it into the microphone.
In case you guys missed it, Michael just bit into a big caramel popsicle ball. Good job. Where the hell was I? You know what? I guess it doesn't matter. No one's going to help.
I think you were segueing into the first break.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, enjoy some of this old school music. There's a certain game I became obsessed with over a news story we'll talk about later. We have a bunch of news to talk about, and we'll update you on some contest information.
We'll be excited about it.
And there are new releases. I don't think you said
There
that
are
yet.
new releases.
There's the big ones.
Yeah.
There are big ones this week.
Yeah.
Who wants to hear about games?
And there's also at least one piece of audio jokingness that I brought along for the class.
Yay. Woo.
TalkRadar pitches.
It's so bad. Go to gamesradar.com.
Raise it bit by bit. Okay. Let me tell you about the proto-culture. If you don't know the culture, here's the whole structure. We had enough of the lackluster. Trust us, we get the kind of games you can't win in Blockbuster. Game related, raise it bit by bit. Yo, D, link up the cable, we'll go hit for hit. Phantasma, plasma, particle beam needs I have you on the run. Rendered effects hot like magnets. I play games by Capcom with a power glove strapped on any platform. I don't spin my dough on fat bar. Video games, I got many to play before my life expires to fulfill my desires. Mastering your hardest ball, shattering our stars across, ain't hard to cross the finish line, floating on Daytona. Wex, Gex, or Fauna, I get them all like cars. RPG, platform, we transform like Macross. Rival schools, buy two, purchase, you ought to. It came with one free CD, it's like I bought two. I hope they make part two for Dreamcast, cause games I seen in bags you won't believe they had. Getting calluses, turning over asteroids, graviton bombs destroyed, getting moms annoyed. Now I'm hacking nightmare creatures, features, splat across the screen, get more clean each year. I remember my homie and Coates had the most, a Coleco vision. Every week I visit playing Donkey Kong Jr. Venture, rock and roll games I thought was dope, while my mom was watching soaps. I'm on the next level, I got a double barrel shotgun in the Doom world, waiting on the next devil. Armor's low, check the arsenal, rupture, the main conductor, playing disruptor. I remember Ninja got it, finished it finally with Ramon, wouldn't answer the phone, this was before getting blown. I own the first Nintendo Power with the maps of Zelda, help me conquer in an hour. Let me tell you about the proto-culture. If you don't know the the culture, here's the whole structure. We had enough of the lackluster. Trust us, we get the kind of games you can't rent in blockbusters. Let me tell you about the proto culture. If you don't know the culture, here's the whole structure. We had enough of the lackluster. Trust us, we get the kind of games you can't rent in blockbusters. What happened to game fans? You know what I'm saying? Oh, they was cool at first. Now we got Game Republic now. E-Storm, though. It's about E-Storm. And EGM is how we win. Hey KU, you know my Sega collection is massive. Got all the past hits and classics. Here's Og's way, now Panzer's way. Originality that made me a fan today.
It's pandemonium, it's like Toys R Us. Flipping the next Saturn game brings out the boys in us. It's poisonous, taking out the boys in blue. But Grand Theft Auto snatch a Rolls Royce to use.
Yeah, I'll admit that PlayStation improved. Come visit feudal Japan with me and Tenchu. Bushido Blade 2 with swordplay so accurate. Mega Man Legends, but I had to buy a map for it.
I'll fence Heo to get a Neo Geo for Samurai 64 and full rendered splendor. Rival counter and enter my swords in his innards. My joint was playing Leonardo whipping on Splinter.
I gotta get Xenogears, that's the type of game that relieves my fears. Get it from overseas to here. I gotta get Psychic Force, authentic arcade that I can endorse. It got me like an
I need to be at the next E3. What's the next CD? I need to see me and D signing checks. Let's float overseas, mingle with game companies, giving tips to Capcom and Sega can front on these.
To anyone who knew me better, know I chose that in first cause it's 2D heaven. Bernie Stoller dropped the ball with the RAM cartridge. X-Men versus Street Fighter could've expanded the market.
Marvel versus Capcom beyond fathom. Tell the truth, PlayStation ain't ready to have them. Come on, I bring the onslaught, Alpha and Omega. Chaos unique, brought to you by Sega.
Let me tell you about the proto culture.
If you don't know the culture, here's the whole structure.
We had enough of the lackluster. Trust us, we get the kind of games you can't rent at blockbusters. Let me tell you about the proto culture.
If you don't know the culture, here's the whole structure.
We had enough of the lackluster. Trust us, we get the kind of games you can't rent at blockbusters.
You was a fool in the Dreamcast before anybody else.
You know what I'm saying? Sonic Adventure, Black Shingo's whooping me in Sega Rally now. That's clean shit.
You know, it's about Doom. I'm all doomed out. I got the novel. You know what I'm saying? I'm all doomed.
Man, you gotta get up, though. Giggity. Virtual Fighter 3, arcade,
Hey, does anybody want to listen to the rest of this motherfucking podcast? Yeah!
Podcast!
Jesus Christ.
Jeez, that was good, guys.
What was that?
That's pretty good.
That was like horrible harmonizing.
Oh, that was amazing. Podcast 39. Who likes new releases?
Right here!
It's not just that, but this week, everything I have on my list is pretty cool.
We have roughly 2 things on our lists.
Things on our list. 2 things on. Well, I think you'd be surprised. Street Fighter IV is out this week.
Yes.
And
Never.
Me neither.
IV. So is it like
This is what Seth Killian gets for not appearing on our podcast. Seth Killian was supposed to be here this week.
And you got stuck with me instead.
You may have been here too, but Seth is still dead to us.
That sounds like a horrible game. Why would I want to fight streets?
No, Seth,
municipal ombudsman, and you you create zoning laws.
Seth Killian from Capcom was supposed to be on here. He was last on TalkRadar 17. He's supposed to be on here to talk this week about the release of Street Fighter 4. He got summoned to LA on short notice. Hopefully he can come in next week or the following week.
Busy man, and he's awesome.
He's a busy man. But so be it. That Street Fighter 4 came out this week after a full year of us writing articles about once a week on it. And
that finally got convinced it to come out. So you're welcome, Internet.
Yes, single-handedly got Street
Made
Fighter.
it happen.
So Scott reviewed Street Fighter 4, and what's the
Sorry,
word?
Scott, you reviewed it for Pizza, and the statistics released 24 hours later said the PlayStation version sold more than the 360 version.
It says thus far PS3 seems to be selling more than 360.
I think that might be because I think the general consensus is that the PlayStation gamepad is better for fighting games.
Yeah. Yes,
and I'm inclined to agree. So I think that might be.
I have the HD fighter
Yeah.
HD Turbo Remix 2,
Yeah.
11.
Let's see here. Super Street Fighter.
Super Street Fighter
Turbo
2
HD
HD Remix.
There we go.
Terrible. Like, I can't pull off the things I know I remember on the Xbox D-pad. Horrifying.
D-pad is...
I don't know. I finally got used to it. I can now do really well with that D-pad, but I don't want to mess with it for another new game. I'd rather just get Street Fighter 4 for PS3.
I'm more frustrated. I'm just saying because I play a lot of Horde mode. If you guys see me on Horde mode and you have my gamer tag, hit me up. But shotgun.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's the grenade, and
Yeah.
I don't have it. What do I do? Yes, because
It's the worst D-pad ever.
I was going to speculate that the special edition for Street Fighter on PS3 comes with the 360 one comes with what's the new girl character? Viper?
C Viper.
C Viper figure, and the PS3 one comes with Ryu. It also comes. It's actually Rube. None of us here are Japanese.
I said
that's in Winnie the Pooh, actually.
Winnie the Roo.
Winnie the Roo.
Kanga. Then there's.
All right. So how's Street Fighter 4?
On the topic of D-pad sucking, I'm playing with the
I do want to say that the PS3 it comes with a Blu-ray DVD as well. Do you like it? Everybody seems to.
I've played both the $150 and $80 versions, and really the big difference is that the $150 is a lot more customizable. You can break it open and do whatever you want with it. I honestly think that if you're a more casual player, the $80 one will suffice. So if you're looking for a joystick, honestly, I think the $80 one will do it because they're both really high quality. I really like both of them. And it makes the game more fun, to be honest. I feel bad saying, hey, don't spend $80, give it to Mad Cat.
So I was sucked back in with HD Remix, and I have to have a stick now. Like I can't.
You're welcome to borrow the ones that we got, but for everyone else out there,
the thing is, I gave away all the stupid sticks that I had already. The stupid podcast.
Really good. So you need to pick up the new ones. Probably the only one.
Yeah, the Mad Cats. Seth was telling us they were sold out, or they were
pretty much all the sticks are sold out, and he was saying that $150 stick is worth a lot more than that. Like all the components that go into making. He was saying that a lot of people build their own sticks. Like a lot of super hardcore fans will build their own arcade sticks. I think this thing, if they tried to build the equivalent, it would cost them much more than
he may have told us not to say this, but they're making very little money on this stick because it's built of quality parts and sold at retail.
They really took with the $150 version. They took no shortcuts, and that's really admirable because that seems to happen very rarely, which is a shame. But it's also, I guess, understandable.
What's it averaging a Metacritic?
Really high. In the nines, low nines.
Imagine. I was very happy about that. And kids were messaging me, and
it's got a 90. It's got a 94 at the moment.
Yeah, the younger people were messaging me like, "What's going on with the Street Fighter 4 reviews? It's not that good." I'm like,
no, it's that good.
You may not understand if you haven't been doing this for.
That's what I kind of wonder is how many of the reviews are like, well, you just don't get it.
How did the 12-year-olds take it yesterday?
That's what I was going to say earlier. I'm behind in everything, including the podcast, because we had 12-year-olds in our office who won a charity auction, and I sat them down to play Ultimate Genesis Collection, a Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, hey, remember Sonic games that don't suck? Here they are.
I spent all weekend playing it.
I mean, but even the games that do suck, it's like there's an achievement buried about half an hour into revisiting this.
So Street Fighter's really good. You should go check it out.
I had the 12-year-olds play it. They were having a lot of fun, but they're like, "This is just a button masher." The most offensive thing I heard is that I don't. Would you buy this game? Like, no, it just doesn't seem like it has whatever the 12-year-old version of the word longevity is. As Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit.
Oh! Did you learn them good with the back of your hand?
I did not. It was for charity, brought upon by our president.
Well, as long as the charity was for some terminal illness.
California public schools. No, I found out very quickly these kids were not terminally ill.
Ah.
And they were not about
That's our boss asked. Now these kids aren't dying or anything. No, they're not.
They were not. They were not, in fact, dying. But they're cool kids. Spencer and Marcus. We have a little little review preview where they go through even the mature. They knew all the mature games. They gave me all the skinny on stuff I didn't even know about, and we had them review Gears of War 2 and blah blah blah.
Is that out now?
Sure enough is. Street Fighter 4 94 on Metacritic.
94 at the moment, yes.
What do we give it? 9? 10?
10.
Yep. Give it a 10.
Yeah, we gave that shit a 10.
One higher than we gave Jitto Lost and Damned, which some idiot jerk in the room gave a 9.
Did you think it deserved a 10, Chris?
I haven't played it.
The current average is a flat 9, so in fact
Michael, sorry, so satisfied.
The only two 10s are from a site called Cinemite.
Oh, you don't know Cinemite?
Oh man, me and Cinemite go way
you
back.
sign up and you become a Cyanite. Like, that's what I am. I'm a Cyanite.
Oh, that's great. And then Total Video Games did it too.
Total Video Games, all of them.
And then Games Radar in-house.
Yeah.
Can they at least put in the house?
That was actually a little tough. Like, some people were confused. Why didn't you give this a 10? And the main reason is... I gave it a lot of thought because there's nothing really that negative about the game. Like, my complaints with it were minor. The story sometimes doesn't make sense. Some people complained about the missions. I didn't really have a problem with them. Because, I mean, it's GTA. Are you really expecting something revolutionary from the DLC? And it did have something that the series has never done before, which is like a second-person chase camera, where there's one mission where you're being chased by these cops, but you're trying to lead them into an ambush, and you have to stay within their line of sight. It's like the reverse of the awful chase missions you normally get into. And so you like hold down B and you switch to their cockpit view, like of their car. A first-person view of them driving, and you can listen to them talking, like yelling at each other and saying, like, "I told you, always plant a gun."
Speaking of cockpit, sorry, I thought it was groundbreaking. We have a penis.
Oh yeah,
we have a penis in our games now. I love that Rockstar. Like every time I talk,
what's missing in games today? My first thought.
Hey, when you have to intentionally avoid things like. Naked people from mythological times in God of War have to wear a loincloth to appease Americans. Like, Europeans, like, yeah, this game looks great. And Americans, this has a cock in it. I'm going to talk to Jesus. We're going to get this changed. God forbid, penis be the light.
I was talking to one of the Rockstar guys, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry if this hurt your eyes. I noticed a lot of reviewers seem to have looked at it and then stopped playing the game."
It was only because every time I bring up hey, what about nudge nudge hot coffee? They really get skittish about it. But then I was like, you guys weren't shying away from controversy at all. You hit a dick in your game.
Yeah, and I said, I thought it was funny. I thought it was like you guys were deliberately goading people into saying, "Oh, well, the violence is fine, but a dick is unacceptable."
I thought that was great because not only there's not that much controversy, but I'm drunk about that the dick right now. It's taken away from any argument you'd have against the game. Like, these bikers are savages. Well, there's a penis in it. Whoop. What do I complain about?
Well, like I've said this before. When Vice City came out, I was at Toys R Us. Parents didn't care that you could kill people, but when I said there was cussing, they would return it.
Yeah,
because there was cussing.
Well, I love that because people get angry at the only opponents to video games who are staunchly opposed to their content don't play them.
Yeah.
And when they hear that there's violence and there's a penis, I really think there's like this general conflict, or even if they're more infuriated, I still have to laugh.
Yeah.
Like if their face gets a little redder, to know that there's what I think Michael and I deduced was basically a toilet paper roll hanging from a guy's pelvis.
What's funny is it's an appendage that should have physics to it, and it doesn't.
Everything else has physics.
It's just straight down.
No havoc in it.
It's magnetic south the whole time.
They knew everybody'd be so surprised by seeing it that they wouldn't have to program in physics.
That's the thing. Like
everyone would be staring at it.
Anybody who's not an idiot can be talked into. Like, do you understand why this is funny? Because in the scene, which most people have seen by now, they avoid showing the nudity. for a while, and then boom, it's there. That's what's funny about it.
They kind of flirt with it. They just like, oh, we almost showed it. Oh, we almost showed it. Oh,
they flirt with the penis a little bit. Where
They do. They tease it.
It's almost like Austin Powers level, where it's like constantly things are getting in the way of it.
Right.
Like the camera is like just on the edge of it, and then just suddenly he turns around and bam, penis. There's a penis. Oh my god!
I did want to reenact it. I was going to have just a black piece of construction paper and a cardboard tube, and that is your jittercock.
But yeah, he was telling me that like the ESRB, when they saw that, they were like, "You can't do this," and they were like, "Oh, but the murders are okay." So they finally said, "Okay, just change partial nudity to nudity." And the descriptors.
Well, it is one of the. I forgot who said this, but it's an excellent point that if a game won't do this, it's just another step if games can't be taken seriously.
Yeah.
If they're going to ever shy away from anything, it belittles the entire idea that games are more than just, I'm going to kill everything.
Exactly. It's the catch-22 of like, well, kids are going to play this. I'm like, you're designing it for kids.
Yeah.
You're limiting it to kids. We can't do adult things.
Well, so, it wouldn't be a huge deal if there was a dick in a film. Like an R-rated movie.
I know.
That'd be hailed as bold.
When I walked out of Sideways, no one was going, I can't believe I saw that guy's junk.
Yes.
Like, it was like...
It's always the funniest thing in the world. You see about Schmidt? Kathy Bates showed her bush. Ha ha. Like that...
It's true. Judd Apatow movies. Like, there's cock all over that movie.
Yeah, exactly. That was my first Blu-ray.
And how many times have we all seen Kevin Bacon's junk?
Depending on how many times you've watched Wild Things, I don't know.
And Hollow Man.
And Hollow Man.
And Hollow Man?
By the way.
He shows us his wang in Hollow Man?
Kind of CG muscle-ish junk.
Yeah. You see him naked without skin.
I'm not.
See what goes into a boner.
I'm not into that. I like to watch Sleepers and imagine his penis.
So also this week,
where I was going with this was to explain why I gave it a 9 instead of 10.
Because of the penis.
Sorry.
No, it's not because of the penis. I actually did a lot of thinking about this, and in the end, I think a 10 doesn't necessarily have to be a perfect score, but I think something has to be really, really special to get a 10. Mm-hmm. And in the case of GTA 4, I mean that created something really huge and significant. I think Liberty City is an amazing achievement, and this is just here's a new story in that same achievement. So maybe it doesn't deserve quite the same score.
Yes.
No, it makes sense.
We expanded the population on the city. We've already populated pretty heavily.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing I wanted to address is one guy in the comments section of the review says, anyone a bit confused about the fact that Michael, the PlayStation editor, is reviewing an Xbox exclusive? I think that's a good point to bring up, but
it's a very antiquated point to bring up.
It kind of is. It's like it sort of suggests that I was like holding the Xbox pad, and I'm like, there's a D-pad here instead of a thumbstick. I don't know what to do. What are these trigger things? Oh my god!
Know that everybody on staff is an expert in something, and Michael's pretty much the biggest expert on GTA I know.
My unofficial title around the office is crime editor.
The senior editor of crime.
Well, even when you go to IGN, I've seen reviews on the other channels by people who are, technically I only stay on this channel. But if a game comes around and it, that's where you go.
Yeah.
It does, like, especially at GR, our platform rankings, I'm the Nintendo editor, most of my reviews are not Nintendo. Like, they're just not.
Most of the times you mention Nintendo are not very favorable.
Not since a certain system came out.
Most of the games you review originally started on Nintendo.
Yeah.
I think that's the common thread.
Except unless you look at DS reviews from 2006, in which case they are all mine.
Bottom line is we're gamers first and editors second.
There you go.
Like also this week, the wonderfully important release of Race Pro.
Race Pro!
Which Michael said was a eugenics project, I think.
I think that's right, isn't it?
And I think it's GamePro venturing out into a new magazine.
Good one.
It just I can't hear anything pro.
Eugenics, funny. Play on words, not so much.
No, I like that. Those Jet guys have had it too good for too long.
It's just everything from pro sounds game. They did pro tip and pro review, and everything pro was game pro. They just owned the word.
PRO.
PRO. It is averaging a 70 and is about cars. No, one cares.
Okay, gave it an 85. Hooray.
Also this week, if you own a PC, and I don't think anybody does, Dawn of War 2 came out this week.
Dawn of War 2.
Which
Who
is
knows? I thought it was out a month ago. I have no idea.
It's a big deal. It's averaging a 87.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Yes, enjoy your swords and loincloths. Dragon Quest V.
That's the wrong game, but all right.
That's pretty incorrect, but sure.
Warhammer's the future, sir.
Oh, it is?
For this one is. Sure.
Edit.
No, keep that in.
Keep that in. Dragon Quest V, Hands of the Heavenly Bride, which was reviewed by our own Hank Gilbert. One Up gave it an A, and we gave it a 9.
Is One Up still doing reviews? I didn't think they had.
Apparently they are, even though I heard they weren't doing reviews, features, or videos anymore, and I've seen all of them since. So
Yes.
I think maybe we were all misled to some degree, and a bunch of people got laid off perhaps for no good reason.
No, I just think they're not doing any more features in interviewing a developer on an obscure Japanese-only DS game. He's not...
I don't want to hear that on the podcast, Chris.
It's the only time he's ever said that.
I know. Look at his face. He's not fucking around.
Very serious.
Oh.
He's writing himself a note.
I'm drawing an arm on this dragon thing. You can tell I'm serious.
A beefy arm for good measure.
Michael Stern
Sticking out of its back.
Michael Stern Pares.
Michael Stern Pares. He is upset. We have to listen to what he said. Wow. His foot has come down.
Michael Foot Pares.
Grandpares.
Oh, man, all you need is a syllable and this works.
All right.
What are we talking about? Were we on the top 7 still?
Wait. Did anybody...
I don't know.
Did anybody play Nobi Boy?
Is that out?
I don't think that's
apparently.
I'm actually not sure. I just saw Teresa from Teton playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, she's got an early build to review. It's kind of incomprehensible.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching her play, and I just had no idea what was happening. She's like, yeah, I just stretched.
Is it still fun? Because people give the people give
Katamari. That's enough.
People give the guy who created Katamari Damacy. If Katamari Damacy didn't have a goal or a number or a numeric score, I would still have fun with it.
Well, it will be out by the time this podcast goes.
I know that, but that's what I want to see what Nobi Boy is, because I could think it'd still have fun with it, even if it looks ridiculous.
I was going to say, today, Mike Grimm, formerly of 1UPS, sent me a picture on AIM, and it said, all you need to know about this game sums up completely in one picture. I clicked on it. It's a picture. It's like a giant worm thing with like little bears sitting on top of it. That was it. I was like, what the hell is this?
Well, it's like you're like a giant worm that eats things, and the more things you eat, the more it adds onto your body.
And I was like,
yeah. It's
So
like
it's-
Snake.
So it's Snake.
It's
From
not.
my
It's,
cell phone. You can't kill yourself, though. You can't like run into your own body and die.
Believe me, I've tried.
In real life.
It's only $5, right?
To kill yourself?
it's very cheap. It's very, very cheap. I think it's 5 American points on
5
PSN.
So, listeners, you get what you pay for.
Hold on, more PlayStation stuff. Hey, here's something we don't mention a lot: a new PSP game.
What's the PSP?
Prinny.
Did it accidentally come out?
Can I be a hero?
I thought that
I thought it was, can I really be the hero?
Yeah.
Can I really be the hero?
Yes, which is actually kind of good. I loved it, and I love Prinnies.
I really want to see the Prinnies hit the mainstream. I really.
It
like
seems very close. Like they could easily they're like one reference away from being like, oh, everybody knows it. Well, not everyone, but you know.
I played one Disgaea game in depth, and the Prinnies stuck with me.
Yeah, they're lovable.
Ever, dude.
It's averaging a
Dude.
It's averaging a 79, and T-Nag, who wrote our top 7 this week, gave it an 8. I love the idea of it, that you have 1,000 lives, and you die in one hit, and the point is to get through the game with your 1,000 lives. I think that's really interesting.
That's very old school.
That is but kind of awesome.
So if you think of that as 3 lives and 9,400 continues, it's the exact same thing.
I think you lost
one last new release that I not even a new release, barely worth mentioning, but God help me if I don't love Life Force, and it's coming to the Virtual Console.
It was strange that that Life Force came out, which is called Salamander in Japan. I only say that because why is it called Salamander? Which was just featured in my Hearts article that I think died an unfair death. I just beat that game on emulator last week, and then I saw it came out for Virtual Console. I was like,
Did you without the Konami code?
I did not use the Konami code because I am good at video games.
You're like, oh man, I could have paid money to play this.
It's just weird to know, like, oh, Life Force isn't even on Virtual Console. Why bother looking? And then, hey, now Life Force is out.
That's one of my favorite questions I asked those little kids. I was like, have you heard of Altered Beast? Let's play it. This is terrible. Yeah. Like, how much would you pay for this in 1991? And the kid's like, Marcus said $2. I'm like, it's actually $6 on Virtual Console.
Well, given that he was not alive in 1991, you know.
Oh, man.
State of the art.
There you go. That's the perfect recipe for humor.
No, when
and date recognition.
No, when we were asking about, hey, you know, what was your first system? And he was born in '96, and his first system was an N64, which he played years after that. It's just like, it makes me feel really old.
Yeah.
We both were there.
They were born when I graduated high school.
You graduated in '96?
I did.
Wow.
There we go.
I graduated college in 2000.
Wow! Michael's old! Jesus Christ!
Let's bleed through some news.
I'm trying to find a reason to bring defensive Brett back, but I need a reason to be defensive. First piece of news that I wanted to bring up this week is the DSi was given an official U.S. release date. Nintendo DSi.
Who cares?
Oh, well, who cares? Let's see.
Let's move on then.
Let's move on. No, it'll be $170. Comes out April 5th, the same day as Rhythm Heaven, which is really cool.
That's cool.
And I believe GameStop will be taking pre-orders
for everything.
So when does the one that works come out? Is that 6 months later, or
they all worked in Nintendo?
Never mind. GameStop will be taking pre-orders by the time you hear this podcast.
Yeah, Nintendo brought by the DSi last week, and it's so annoying because there's a lot of interesting features about it, like the cameras on it. Even though they say it's like a 0.3 megapixel camera, which sounds functionally useless. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is. Either they're lying or mistaken, or it's the screen that makes it look good, because the pictures they take looked fine to me. Like, they did not look... I was expecting utter garbage. And they didn't look that bad. And the distortion effects you can do with the pictures, if I was like a girl in 6th grade, I would love it. I would freak out at this stuff that you normally have to go to like a Precora station or some kind of photo booth I can't tell what that is.
It's yesterday.
Oh, the rainbow.
For the folks at home.
I'm just saying this is several times what the DSi is. And I think this picture is terrible and doesn't do the rainbow justice.
But the thing is that screen I don't think is as quality as a DSi screen.
That's probably true.
Because on the screen it looked fine. Anyway, the point was, like, they showed us the different effects you could do. There was a lot of cool things you could do with that. You could put borders around stuff, or take a picture and like sketch out parts and lay that over another image. So you could take a picture of your face, hollow out your eyes, and then take another picture and put whatever was there inside your eye. You could just screw with shit.
It has a DS Quicken program, so you can figure out how much money you spend on DSs.
Yes, that's also true. Then they showed us the WarioWare game, which is essentially an iToy. You set the DS down in front of you, and you lean in front of it, and it's just like, oh, put your hands up, lean over to the left, lean over to the right.
You could do that without a DS.
Yes, you could. The thing is, it's a downloadable DS game, so it's not even a retail release. It's really
there's a hard drive in there.
So it won't be coming out in America, is what you're saying.
It is. It actually is. There is internal memory. Here's the one thing where I was like, cool idea, and then immediately shot down when I asked the follow-up question.
Go ahead. First one first.
It has an SD card slot. It recognized up to 4 gigs. And I thought, and you can store music on it. And I thought,
nice.
That's how big my iPod is. I can actually just have my DS and not carry 2 things. And if I close it, it will keep playing the music, right? Yes. And you can search your music and do all the other stuff as well. Awesome. Oh, it supports MP3s, right? No, it's only AAC.
Oh.
Basically,
whatever, that worked perfectly.
When you say, no, it doesn't support MP3, oh, not using it. Like, immediately stop not using it, next sentence. Like, We're not going to use the industry standard. We're going to be broadcasting in Theta Vision.
AC3s. Did Nintendo invest in AC3s or whatever the hell that format is called?
ACC.
ACCs?
It's just like, can you guys accept MP3 as standard? Is that just too
Well, we don't know if they're really going to take it.
Yeah, they would need a friend code to access each individual
technically
one,
it took the Game Boy 10 years to catch on, so...
or instantly.
Why is it that only MP3 players play MP3s? Like there was that whole thing with Rockstar and the GTAs on PSP, Vice City Stories and Liberty City Stories. It's like you can have a custom soundtrack, but you can't just use the MP3s that the PSP can already play. You have to download our program and convert things from CDs you own, and they have to be legit CDs, and blah 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 blah.
It's to avoid rights issues.
Yeah, but it's so much trouble.
It's ridiculous because anybody for a sec, like, I love there's people devoted on the internet to breaking that anyway.
Yeah,
I can play my MP3s with 3 clicks. Cut it out.
Well, besides, it's like I'm going to play the MP3s whether or not you want me to.
Yes.
They're going to be there whether or not your game allows it. So just Sony doesn't have a problem with it. They made the PSP to play MP3s.
Another thing about DSi very briefly is it's...
Oh, you better be.
It's the Game Boy Color kind of almost all over again.
Uh-oh.
Like, it does, in addition to all the bells and whistles, like extra features for, you can personalize your DS and make it a little bit more yours than the Lite, and it's got a bunch of other small tweaks.
I would say, I don't know what you're going to say. I'm going to say it's less significant than from going black and white to color.
Well, the color part is one thing, was more significant, yes, but it does have slightly improved clock speed, so it's a faster system, which is the same thing Game Boy Color was. So that means within the next year we will see games that are like only for DSi.
We're still going to deal with it. We're still going to deal with DS hardware and
it'll be that same shit where it was like, oh, this plays on Game Boy Color but not on Game Boy Black and White, and some games play on both. And if it's in Game Boy Color, it took advantage of the hardware, and if you were playing in regular Game Boy, it did. And what did they do? 1 year after it launched, they announced the Game Boy Advance. So this is to me, is kind of proof within another year, like next year's E3, they will announce the DS successor, like the actual successor.
Japan's really into this, but I think this is something America will ignore.
It seems like it, and we're not, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway,
it's a something pixel camera. We don't really need detail. Do you really? You need details? You're going to play this on the subway, right? In Arkansas? That's
this is
on the bullet train through.
Yeah, that's right.
Kansas.
This is related, but kind of different. But even Apple is slowing down their annual updates because of our recession.
Yeah,
I feel like this whole other we put in a shitty camera is pretty ill-timed for like a new console.
It does seem ill.
In other news. Holy crap.
Remember that is really irritating.
Remember I said that thing about the Dead Space? Be careful of what happens to the Wii. Dead Space Extraction.
Is it called Extraction?
Yep.
It's a prequel called Extraction.
First person. With a heroine, starring as a lady.
Well, I don't know much about the technical aspect of games. I almost feel like that's bolder for the Wii to do. What? First person and third person? I guess it takes rendering a third person model to look ugly on screen all day.
I know, I was like, well, to me it seems like that's one less thing they have to render on the screen.
Yeah.
And the trailer's like, oh man, this looks awesome. This can't happen. This is never going to work.
I'm still hung up on the fact about how it takes place before the ship you land on it, and it's called Extraction.
They already made a movie about what took place before on the ship.
That's
and
right,
it sucks.
They did. And apparently it sucks. I have not seen it.
It's terrible.
But shouldn't it be like Arrival or something? Extraction
Well, I think
means
they're extracting things from the planet that they're hovering over, like the artifact that's sort of the center of.
They're planet extractors. In other news,
the ship is a planet cracker.
See, Michael was almost paying attention.
It's a racist term for a
what
white
did you
person.
call me?
I really want
planet crackers.
We'll give it to him.
Planet crackers.
You can see more planet crackers in Republican Space Rangers and ETA Lost and Damned.
Goddamn planet crackers walking around in the white suits, telling us what to do.
Going over to Uranus? What are you doing, man? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jokes.
In other news, Burnout
Riddles.
Legendary Pack adds the Ghostbusters ride and a pseudo DeLorean, which is kind of cool if you're still playing Burnout. I think
I think a lot of people are actually.
Yeah.
The DLC has done a good job of.
it's a great game, I realized I play even the worst racing games, and Burnout's pretty good.
Did you play Race Pro?
I did not play Race Pro.
Then you're a liar.
I did not play.
What kind of racist are you, Chris?
It just came. God, third degree. You guys are whatever. Look at this, Mikkel. You'll like this. Pre-order Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars from Amazon and get a bulletproof Infernus.
Bulletproof Inverness?
Infernus.
Oh, in the game, you mean?
Yeah.
Like Infernus, the car.
The car.
Ah.
Otherwise known as Inferno to every other website who apparently hasn't played a Grand Theft Auto since the original.
I'm not really sure how I feel about the idea of in-game
I think it's terrible.
exclusive pre-orders on DS games.
On DS,
I'd expect that shit on like 360, PS3, PC, but I mean,
to be honest, I don't even know how they're going to do it. Like, do you pack it on the cart? Can you share this?
Maybe
thing?
they'll just maybe it's like what is it? Prince of Persia has the unlock code.
But this is a DS
special edition.
There will be segregated lines for different.
They'll probably just give you the unlock code, and then it'll go online, and you can just get it off of Cheat Planet.
There you go. It'll be
or
cheatplanet.com. Look for Michael Raparez review coming soon. Cheat Planet.
Maybe there's a dongle. I don't know how they do it on a handheld.
Here's something that made me mad this week. And these are rumors from Variety, which I rarely read for my gaming news. Activision suing EA over publishing rights for Brutal Legend.
Oh, yeah. No, it came from a number of sources.
Yeah. No, it was basically from Variety.
Well, it's nice that the game's gone from who's going to publish this to we want to publish it.
We want to publish this.
We're going to sue you to publish this.
To sue I think they loosely own some rights, and it's not that they still want to publish it. They want to keep anybody else from publishing it. Oh. Activision is your new. Wow, they're beyond the new EA.
They're borderline supervillains in the game world.
They're in the new Microsoft.
And I couldn't even read this on a press release, but I saw this printed everywhere, which in the gaming community counts as news. Even though I'll say this right now, I can't confirm this was written by an EA spokesperson. We doubt that Activision would try to sue. That would be like a husband abandoning his family and then suing after his wife meets a better-looking guy.
That's a great analogy, guy.
But really, Activision. We all remember that quote. That quote sticks in my head every day. Like, we don't want to publish games that we can't exploit. He used the word exploit on an annual basis.
I think it's in reference to BioShock, which kind of hurts my heart a little bit.
BioShock or Ghostbusters or one of those things I was looking forward to from Activision. Not like
it couldn't have been BioShock.
Not like Guitar Hero, which I've just accepted like the flu. It's going to come around once a year, now twice a year. I'll accept it.
Or in case of 2008, 5 times a year.
I'll accept it. I'll beat it. And yes, I'm
not counting the LCD toy things.
Yeah, no one counts those.
Midway apparently owes money to everybody.
Yeah,
including us.
We're not on the top 30, but yeah, Midway.
I'm sorry. Did I step on a point you were trying to make?
No, I didn't. I didn't want to grab because they owe millions of dollars. It's embarrassing. Like, how did your company do any? Midway owes a bunch.
It's just strange. A company that owns Mortal Kombat and a license like TNA, and they also had. What else did Midway do in the past few years? Didn't they do Stranglehold, which sold well? It's just like all this
Unreal
stuff.
Tournament 3.
Yeah, they did Unreal. It's like, how did a company that has all these bankable franchises be completely screwed?
TNA was terrible, and Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, but they sell. They sell.
And Frontlines, Fuels of War still has people playing. It doesn't matter because Ubisoft and Midway have come together for a deal to co-publish Wheelman.
Oh boy.
Yep. Again, I'm only saying this because I've been playing a lot of Need for Speed because I may have a new Need for Speed preview coming next week. I love even the worst arcadey racing game. I'll play everyone. Wheelman, no one.
Yeah.
The D's. I know you're in with the D's.
Yeah, apparently. I actually got to play Wheelman back probably almost 6 months ago now, and it was fun. It was legitimately fun when I played.
Is that for the September issue?
Sure. It was probably something like that, yeah.
I was making a non-internet joke.
Right, but I think it actually was a September
We
issue.
thought you were speaking like a normal person.
But it was fun, and hopefully the final game will be fun. Who knows? I only played one level, so it's kind of hard to say, but we'll see.
What happened in one level?
Wheelman, you just...
Let me guess, you got an
somehow-
objective to drive somewhere.
That's basically it. It's just like a woman in a backseat yelling at you to drive, but like a bunch of crazy stuff happens, and it's super arcadey, and you get to like basically body check cars into buildings and launch off ramps, and things explode. It's really actiony, but it was entertaining. Like it's kind of like mindless fun, but it was fun. So see the game evolves.
You were
and gets
talking
a little more.
We've never seen Need for Speed Undercover.
Yeah,
and
it's terribly. And
I finally saw it, and it's not completely terrible, but they really went with the bizarre choice, almost bold, of doing all live action cutscenes.
Yeah, which were not very good.
At certain times, I'm like, this is porno-esque.
Yeah.
And then, oh no, they pulled it together. The camera angles, the acting gets a little better. But what I couldn't stand is that I bought a widescreen TV. You have a theater aspect ratio. No one saw this at AMC. Use my whole television. That's why I bought you. Black bars on something specifically for a video game bugs the crap out of me. Other little bit of news: Microsoft claims the Red Ring of Deaths are behind us.
Yeah, about that.
They claim
just
How
got
do
mine
they know?
back.
They claim that the process and fixing Xbox 360s, they're using new technology. The quote was, "It's very quick. They may upgrade your system with the latest technology so that it works very well." I'm sorry, I should have gotten more than that. That's really just a dumb PR quote. But I was only want to revert back to a survey on our forums, on the Xbox 360 site, portion of our forums. 49% have suffered complete hardware failure. We all blew in an NES cartridge. But 50% of people, completely without system.
Yeah, that's not surprisingly high number, but
listen up. I'm pretty sure it's probably higher.
Yeah,
49%. That's 50. That's half. That's half.
Well, just in this room, how many of us 5 had to send theirs in?
I was going to say that. Let's try and figure out Games Radar. Games Radar has lost several office units.
Yeah.
Who's red ringed? Shane, yours red ringed. Brett, yours red ringed.
4 times.
I'm actually incredibly lucky, knock on wood, because I have one that I bought launch day, and it still works fine.
Me too. Well, not launch day. Me too. I have not ringed. Scotty?
Oh, I don't own one of those. I work for the PlayStation Mag. No, I haven't read one. No.
But in our office, Paul has Charlie.
I don't know. Yes, I think he did.
Charlie. Tyler, I think, has.
If Charlie's own home unit didn't, he's had to send off many office ones that did.
Henry's did.
Lizzie's did. The same day as mine.
Did.
Wow.
Andrew's hasn't. Eric's?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But either way, it's almost over 50% in our office.
Even if it is 50%, that is an unacceptable number.
It's an extremely unacceptable number.
Half of them don't work.
20%.
Yeah.
I think I only saw it on Destructoid.
4% is like the norm for hardware.
Microsoft claims Red Ring of Death over new 360s made of sunshine.
That's pretty
cool.
Good.
Yes.
I was going to ask what the new technology was, and it was going to be something like that.
Happiness. And lollipops.
Charisma.
The other piece of news I saw just before we started, I mean, this may not mean anything to most of us, but just that G4 is reducing its episodes of X-Play and Attack of the Show. Presumably, it's rumored the economic blah, blah, blah.
They cut their staff significantly.
But the official line is they're just going to we want to put that money into new ventures and new shows. And you know how well G4 does with its new programming, instead of showing old episodes of Star Trek and Lost or whatever it is they show on G4.
Star Trek, Lost, and Cheaters.
And Cops and Brainiacs.
Do they still have Arrested Development? They're showing that.
And the Ninja Show. I forget what it's called.
Which is I'm sorry, Mr. Sessler, the best thing on G4.
It's one of the best things on TV.
On TV. The, what is it?
Ninja Warrior.
Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, that show rocks.
An impassable, imagine Guts, but painful, impossible, and embarrassing to your relatives.
See all that scaffolding, man? Climb that.
Quickly.
Quickly. Yeah. You got 10
No, you don't
seconds.
get any equipment.
No.
What's wrong with your hands and feet? Come on.
Seriously.
Oh, you can't. You fell in the lake at the beginning. Sorry.
Just by you saying it's like Guts. Like, oh, Guts, that show I watched when I wasn't born.
That show I watched when you were a boy
I thought we
10
discussed
years
this.
before my birth.
Well, do you have it?
Thank you.
Look up your Nickelodeon Guts. Mo.
Mo. Tell me we have
Oh
Mo.
man, I had the biggest crush on her.
Was Mo hot? I can't remember.
Yes. And she was
Was Michael Malley
Australian?
high?
Yes. Yes. This is also. These are all consistent truths. Here's something I got excited about. Punch Out on the Wii
Heard of it?
has an ESRB rating.
Oh yeah.
ESRB. Guess
It's
what?
adults only, right?
What do you think it has?
It's
Comic.
full frontal nudity.
Not quite.
MA13.
Yes.
Suggestive
A
themes.
to A.
No, it turns out the only thing it has listed is DVDA.
What?
No. The
Oh.
You Orgasmo listeners will like that. But no, the only thing I've listed is cartoon violence and comic mischief. Which,
Fuck is comic
It's in
mischief?
keeping
What?
with Punch Out.
what Christian body is lobbying for comic mischief to be mentioned on a book? I'm not going to have no game with no comic mischief.
Mischief, I'm not gonna buy this.
Comic mischief.
Comic mischief. What does that mean?
I don't know. Comic mischief.
I imagine a prank by Calvin. Like that's it. That's
It's
it.
like, for parents who think Bugs Bunny cartoons are the work of the devil and won't let the kids watch them, because that'd be like eating sugary foods.
Oh, it's like that rabbit season, duck season
Cussing.
shit, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, it's like Hair Trigger, man. That one episode with the monster with the red hair.
You brought that up the other day.
I know. I just want to reference old Looney Tunes.
Wow.
But an ESRB rating, what does that mean? Good as gold, right? Good to go?
Not till after E3, so I'm thinking August or September.
I'm just saying.
I think that'll come out in May for some reason. Yeah, no, I base that on nothing. I
It
just,
really just means I know what the most objectionable content in the game is going to be.
You're ruining.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's finished.
well, that means they've.
That's right.
That means they played it enough to feel that they could pass judgment
You
on the
uppercut
content.
Piston Honda in the urethra. Now, it's...
Oh, racism, that's good for us. Yeah, you punch Glass Joe so hard that croissants come out of him.
all the black characters are stronger. Warning. ESRB.
And they rap when they box.
Jesus. So fired.
We're talking about stereotypes. Come on.
I was
Cole.
trying to segue into ESRB rating because we're held to embargoes. If we broke news beforehand, we would never be dealt with again. The ESRB does it again and again.
Yeah,
and
they
most likely, the most likely instance of your game coming out is the ESRB announcing it. And we learned that this week, not always. Did everybody see the Earthbound?
Yeah.
Oh, Earthbound. It wasn't just that it wasn't. It didn't come out. It wasn't supposed to be announced at all. And I've become obsessed with Earthbound as a result. And I was talking to Elson about this. The soundtrack. The soundtrack is one of the main reasons speculated why it can't come out here.
You told me this, and I don't know. I it's one of those games that, because I'm such a video game music whore, I've listened to the soundtrack for years and I actually never played the game.
Yeah.
So I'm very familiar with the soundtrack, but I don't know the songs that allegedly it cribs from.
No, I haven't played the game at all, but the soundtrack is phenomenal.
It's a good soundtrack for sure.
It's some of the most bizarre and beautiful music I've
The
ever
whole
heard in
game.
my life.
The little I have seen and watched friends play of the game, it is one truly bizarre game. Especially the final battle is really creepy.
If you ever wondered who Ness was from, that cheap character in Smash Brothers, he is from Mother Earthbound. This Earthbound 2, or Mother 2 is Earthbound, right?
In the US, yeah.
Yeah. And Ness is only in Earthbound 2.
Which I remember when it came out in a huge box because it came with a strategy guide. And it came with a Mario Paint-sized package, which came with a mouse pad.
Well, the speculation is that the music is the reason why. And Brett, if you can give me some hardware specs, how many megs did a SNES cart usually come with?
By the end, 32 was the top.
Well, around Earthbound, you don't.
Well, Earthbound was 95. Super Street Fighter 2 was 94, which was 32 megs. So my guess is it's like 24?
From what I read, it was 24 on the music alone.
24 sounds right. That's that kind of an average game at the time.
And the music contains sampling unlike anything I've ever heard before. And this was part of it. Like, say, this is Onits. Please don't correct me. I'm just really obsessed with the Earthbound soundtrack. You walk into an arcade, this is what you're going to hear. And in a SNES game. Right, you probably hear a little bit of Donkey Kong in there.
I didn't.
But what else is in there? I always said Zexis. XEV.
Yeah, Zexis. Big game. I'm sure people will know it's being...
Zexis, that was the clip we just played. That is not a Nintendo game.
No, it's not. I think
which they sampled in Earthbound.
Did they sample it? Was that what that was?
Yeah, me either.
Okay.
No, play it again.
Hold on.
Play them back to back.
Alright.
I think it was the beginning part.
Well, you said that this music played when you walk into an arcade, right?
This is an Atari game. Back when Atari was still...
I played it on the NES. I don't know.
I'm sure you did, but I mean, like the arcade game, it's not a Nintendo game.
Right, no, it's not.
Even like disregarding that, remember, because they were like, there's a Super Mario Brothers reference. Like, that's okay. We understand that Nintendo can reference its own music.
Yeah.
That's Hudson, according to this.
Yeah, it's Hudson or something like that. It's clearly not...
But Hudson is very in with Nintendo, so I'm not too surprised by that.
Well, if you want to go a little more bizarre, all right, listen up. This is the naming screen. I want to see who's the first person who can name the sample. The digital sample the SNES game took.
I know that. That's God. What's the name of that Sousa march that Monty Python used?
Michael?
Monty Python's Flying Circus.
It's a Monty Python music. If you need to hear it again,
But they don't own the copyright to that. That's a Sousa march.
that's true. But
They also don't own the copyright to the Susan march. Unless our...
we
I think
closed out
Sousa stuff is public domain. But anyway,
But we closed out one of the podcasts with Robo-Roll, which is clearly Rick Astley's
Never Gonna Give You Up?
Never Gonna Give You Up. Robo-Roll is exactly the same. And I don't think they were held the same scrutiny. Like, we're not making music, this is game background noise. And now they are. And so when you go back and look at Earthbound, there's about 200 tracks, and they're all lifted from certain places. This is I guarantee not only is no one in the room going to get this, nobody in the audience is going to get this, but I got it immediately because I'm a dork. Because I watched Turner Broadcast Network when I was a little kid. And
So did I.
This came on in between cartoons.
TBN.
I feel like I'm in a David Lynch movie. What's happening?
I honestly can't believe it's a SNES soundtrack.
that's pretty incredible.
But it is a theme song from... Hold on, I'm going to give you a little more. Obviously, that's the Star Spangled Banner. I can't... This is what it... Ready?
Is that the Little Rascals?
It's the Little Rascals.
I should have opened my mouth and you would have been like, oh, I can't believe you got that.
No, it's the Little Rascals music. How did you get the Little Rascals music?
Yeah. I don't know. I just remember that song.
I thought, this is the naming screen in Earthbound. Wow. Unbelievable. Like, I could not stop listening to the soundtrack the whole fucking week.
That's strange, given that I've listened to the soundtrack for about 8 years now and not picked up on any of that.
Here's the thing, Elston. You're really good with game music, but you don't listen to regular music.
I do. I don't listen to shows from the 50s.
I was going to say, I'm not
from
sure you
50s.
could call the Little Rascals theme regular music.
I want to ask
Or a
Elston,
show from the 50s.
I want to ask Elston right now, who wrote "Won't Get Fooled Again"? We Won't Get Fooled Again.
It's The Who, isn't it?
Damn it!
But you
Curse
only know
rock.
that because you went
Yeah.
and saw them in concert.
Yeah, I saw them in concert with you jerk.
Nah. No, I'm not sure everybody will get this immediately, but we're going to play the
There's
Earthbound.
more?
The Earthbound version. I know. Again, I know this to me was fascinating. Like I could not stop listening to it. This is Earthbound: The Skyrunner.
We know this music.
Yeah, that is 100% the keyboard of Bob Riley.
And here we go. Wow.
Play the Earthbound one again.
Yeah. Some of the other ones were sort of tenuous. That one is like, yeah, that's clearly what that is.
But it. The composer, and I feel really stupid. I don't have his name down because I was get some cred from these guys posting on the Earthbound forums.
I think all of these are very close, but not.
They're very close, but the thing is, like, they're legally disputable.
Really?
Yeah,
You think
because
so?
they're if you listen to it really carefully, some of the notes are different. It's just
some of the notes are different.
Clear where it came from.
Exactly.
But the fact that there are one or two different notes, I mean, you can't say, "Oh, they ripped off our concept of having a keyboard, doing that sort of thing." If it's not the exact note.
This is Earthbound Frankie, and this is one of 200 songs. And again, like the thing is packed with Beatles references. There's pages on YouTube that mash up the songs because they're built. The composer said, my inspiration for all this was John Lennon and the Beatles.
Yeah, it says the composers were Hiroshi Kanazu, Keiichi Suzuki, and Hirokazu Tanaka, and they cite John Lennon as an influential figure. This is coming from Wikipedia.
That's the thing. Like I read like what sounds like the Beatles songs, and
which that's an interview from Famitsu, so I take that as credit.
They're all kind of loose. Like you could vaguely interpret Honey Pie as this and that, but this is clearly this is Chuck Berry trying to be good.
Yeah, this one I know.
But I can't tell you how many songs use that exact bass line, though. So.
It's true, but they were all also ripping off Chuck Berry.
Well, right, but they still exist.
And in this day and age, like Chuck Berry would have legal recourse.
Probably.
And then there was only this one just because I can't place a song and I'm really embarrassed. There's a band in Earthbound. What are they called, Brett?
Runaway Five.
A Runaway Five, and they are exactly the Blues Brothers. Only because, yes, I know more about the Blues Brothers than actual blues, but clearly so do the composers. I was utterly fascinated by all, like, the Earthbound music. Hopefully some good person will post a link, because it's been my favorite soundtrack all week. There's like 1,000 different genres of music in this, and they're all bizarre. And in case they've been all the intros and outros the whole time in this podcast, and they're not mixes. There's something that was on the SNES.
SNES.
The SNES.
SNES. SNES, you fucking heathens.
The SNES.
SNES.
Not gonna tell me how to pronounce the
Super
abbreviation.
NES. Damn it.
Well, enough of me boring you guys. Like I had.
Oh, I'm just surprised. It's a never-ending surprise to me that Nintendo of America doesn't do anything with Earthbound when there's very clearly a loud fan base, probably bigger than Fire Emblem, but we keep getting Fire Emblem games, despite the fact that didn't come here until GBA. We got one Mother game for Super Nintendo, and has a huge fan following, yet we keep getting Fire Emblem games, so yet they haven't even tried to introduce another Mother since Super Nintendo over here. It just and then with Smash Brothers reintroducing the character in Melee and then again in Brawl, it's just,
everybody knows Ness.
Everybody knows Ness, and it's just really surprising they haven't even bothered to try. It just blows my mind, and I don't think it's a soundtrack dispute that's holding.
It was a great article on Starman.net and Earthbound Central about a lot of people attributed to the soundtracks. Because if one of these can be disputed,
yeah,
it ruins all of their money.
Yeah.
So one of these songs cost $30,000 to license. If they lost $30,000 on an obscure SNES game going up on the Virtual Console, they're fucked.
Yeah.
I can't recommend enough. Earthbound soundtrack, I love it to pieces. Elston gave me some audio this week as well.
And also, Earthbound it's just a kind of an anti-RPG. If you really can't stand the stereotypical RPG setting, Earthbound bucks every trend there ever was. I don't know. It really is. I wrote about this in an article called not Final Fantasy 10 RPGs that have nothing to do with Square Enix. Like, RPG is very much an RPG for everyone else. It's so off the wall and weird, yet not. Let's go save with swords and fire. We'll save the. It's not.
I mean, just listen to the music you've been hearing the whole podcast. This is bizarre.
Yeah, it's really strange, but it's fun. This week, though, the music, as we mentioned earlier, over the weekend I was playing. Chris and I think we're both playing the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection, which is Altered Beast is on there.
Rise from your grave.
Yes. And it's very forgiving with its achievements. I got 950 points in a couple of days.
Wow.
The only thing I'm missing is beating Mean Bean Machine, which will never happen.
It's not true. I got some secrets for you.
I can't do it. But it's a collection of old Genesis games that, if you weren't around for them, it's questionable how much you'll enjoy them, because even I had to stop playing most of them because they did not age well.
Anybody? Shane had a Genesis Fatal Labyrinth.
Terrible game.
It's one of the worst games I've ever seen in my entire life, and I remember kind of digging it.
Yeah, there was a game called Fairy Tale for Genesis back in the day, and it was like Faery, where that dumb shit where they spell fairy wrong. I was hoping the dolphin was going to be there.
There you go.
By the way, it also has Echo the Dolphin. Hey, there he is.
Which, again, and I tried to pull the audio. After listening to all the Earthbound stuff, I'm trying to find similarities and other stuff. Shane, when I was playing Echo the Dolphin, I couldn't not hear the theme from Requiem for a Dream or the new Two Towers. You're going to have to weigh in on this. I don't believe myself.
Clint Mansell?
Yeah, I don't believe it myself, but I was like, this guy's not a genius. This is an Echo the Dolphin in '94. And sorry, moving on.
One of the games on that disc, the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection, which, again, if you were around for that, please, God, pick it up. It's just, I killed the whole weekend, reliving
Not even that. It's 60 cents a game.
Yeah.
Learn, see, live.
Live and do and love.
Like, you want to get into movies and well, you need to see Buster Keaton. Well, that's boring. I don't want to do that. What if it was 60 cents? You would do it.
Sonic Spinball is on that collection, and it's a game
I loved it.
I never played back in the day because even as a 12-year-old, I was like, wow, really?
I got it for Easter.
I sold my Genesis to get a Super Nintendo. I bought a Nomad years later, and my only game forever was Sonic Spinball.
Spinball, wow.
Yeah.
And it's another game that I knew the soundtrack better than I knew the game. But playing it over the weekend to get the achievement of whatever that get 10 million points.
10,000 points. 10 million points.
And I found the game was actually kind of fun. The control was really bad, guiding
really
Sonic around. But as a game, it kind of worked. I was very interested in it for the hour and a half.
I remembered it working better than it.
Yeah.
In my mind, it could have worked.
Yeah,
Sonic's the perfect pinball.
But if you want to play,
does it still take a half an hour to beat that first level?
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah. Yes.
It was intense.
And by the way, you say first levels, the first quarter.
Yeah, there's 4 of them.
There's 4 levels.
He was a scorpion. Robotnik, that boss. Yeah. What a jerk.
The first level.
The first
and all you have
level.
to do is get under his tail and you beat him instantly.
And he goes, wah.
God, the sound, and as I'm about to say, the sounds of that game are terrible. When you die, it's just this, 2 robots killing each other in ritual sacrifice.
I thought I read that it was the first Sonic game not developed by Sonic Team.
It can't be because it
quote me on that.
There's no resemblance. The Sonic sprite doesn't. Anyway, before we.
Oh, there's always these enemies, and there's hooded kangaroos jumping on fireplace flumes. They don't fit into the theme of Sonic at all.
Yeah, the whole game is very bizarre. But play the first track, that I gave you is called Toxic Caves. It's an example of the first stage of music.
Hang on. Toxic Caves. Sorry. All right, moving on.
Some folks die and some folks get mutated. So, caves.
So, anyway,
What?
Toxic Caves.
And improvise.
Oh,
my god.
This is good music. It's super early Genesis. Listen, it reeks of Genesis music.
It sounds like Toe Jam and Earl music.
Well, it's the same borderline same time period.
This doesn't have 50 sound effects over it though. From every time you hit a pod or fucking like bouncing off of shit.
God, yeah, Toe Jam and
And
Earl.
when you die, yeah, it does sound like it's like the wah wah sound, but robots are screaming it.
But then, so this is competent music. I got to the options screen. Listen to how and my volume was up because I was like, yeah, I love this music in Sonic Spinball. This is what they pass off as music for the options screen.
Wow!
Let it go.
That sounds like power tools having an orgy.
Let it go. Because all of a sudden they decide to make a real song. And then
Nice!
it completely clears up. Still not very good.
The first half burned off. What happened?
I just heard that noise and I there was a collective what the fuck in my house. Like me and Carolyn on the futon and God, what is coming out of the speakers? And, hit the guide button Y completely back out of the game. What happened? I can't even deal with that.
I love that goddamn game. I know every single strategy to all 4 pinball It's a pathetic excuse for a game. Goddamn, somebody we really we should have started throwing rocks at developers early.
Yeah,
and Sonic Spinball would have been one of them.
Spinball was the first case of Sega going, we need a Sonic game every year.
Every year.
Sonic 3 isn't done. In between Sonic 2 and 3, here's Spinball.
Here's your Sonic.
Yeah.
It moves really slow and it's ugly and contains no one you like.
Which, I do appreciate the fact that it did only have Sonic in it. There was no one else.
I'm a big fan of MPH.
Miles per hedgehog?
Metroid Prime Hunters.
Miles per hour. Miles per hour.
That's not how it's spelled.
Yeah,
that's what it means.
It's spelled miles per hour.
Miles.
Word.
Yeah,
what does it
there's
mean?
no H.
It's embarrassing how many years.
It's not miles per hour.
P-R-O-W-E-R. I can't believe we're arguing.
You see these
about
guys? Yeah, seriously. I was just going to say that.
Moving on.
Brought him up. You brought Tails up. What the hell?
I brought up his name is based off of miles per hour. You're like, well, technically the grammar with the person.
I could have sworn you were talking about Neil Patrick Harris and just didn't know how to spell.
No. God damn it.
When I was playing Sonic 2, I remembered that I used to like Tails. And watching him just be there and even in Sonic 3.
Yeah, kind of follow you around. It wasn't
even in Sonic 3, it was kind of adorable. And then as soon as they let him talk and gave him a person.
I
agree.
agree.
The daring little brother who was always getting into trouble.
Yep.
And lost.
Tails. When we get back, we're gonna do some community stuff.
We're talking about recent games, right?
No, we're done. We're done talking about games
We
at all.
talked about way too many recent games.
Really quick before we go, South Peak. I saw this on GameSpot News. South Peak. Everyone knows South Peak, the publisher.
Sure.
Yeah, they make a lot of PC games.
They had a huge quarter thanks to, quote, overwhelming demand for one game, My Baby, for DS.
Wait.
Yes!
I didn't say that.
Yes.
That's not the Islam is the Light game, is it?
Wait, my bitch.
Yeah, I heard the baby say that, too. All right.
Because I'm insane.
Let's go. Segment 3 next with community things.
Community things, updated contests, and
Killer noises! Woo!
TalkRadar.
We're on a collision course with wackiness.
Go to gamesradar.com.
On the internets.
That's dumb.
Help for Wonder Kids save the planet from hideous destruction. Venture through 8 mysterious levels to gain power and put an end to the interstellar threat. Beware, the ultimate test is the encounter with a powerful guidance. Save the planet in Earthbound from Nintendo.
I'd buy that for $1.
It's TalkRadar 39.3.
Sure.
Thank you, Scotty.
Anything for you, Chris. Ow. Shine your shoes? Blowjob? No?
Can you do both at the same time?
You know, I'm not sure I have the coordination, but I'll give it a shot.
Chris is doing just fine on the sexual favors.
That brings Shane. That brings a whole new meaning to the word spit shine.
Oh, we got a writer in the room, right over there.
Hey.
Chris Antista, everybody, who writes about video games.
That I do. The song you're hearing coming in is, and this is the only chance I'll get to say this. That's Turbo Negro.
Good band.
Turbo. Oh, it's a band.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
a band.
you didn't know that?
That is a contest.
I'm not sure if it's pronounced Turbo Negro or Turbo Negro.
Turbo Negro. It's one word.
I'm not going to say it either.
Turbo Negro. Party animals. They are the next Andrew WK. That's what I think.
They've been around for years.
I know, but they're the rock band released this week.
Oh.
Unless you want me to play More Human Than Human by Rob Zombie.
You know, I'm okay. I appreciate your choice.
I just have one question. They have Drenched in Blood on that release.
Nope. Damn! This is the only Turbo Negro song. Turbo Negro, the fastest Negro.
Sure.
Hey! Can we go into the community stuff about the guy who said stuff about his dad and his...
Yeah, I didn't know if I wanted to read that or not.
Yeah. Don't say his name.
All right. I was going to read a new iTunes review, though.
Do it.
All right, going into the community area of our podcast, where people who listen kind of get to stand out and be recognized. You want to be recognized?
Catching up on my sound effects.
Right. All right. We are at 224 iTunes reviews. There's one by Ramen Dragon, which is a 5-star review that is written as a poem. And I don't see any, ABAB or whatever structure to it, but it is arranged in stanzas and such.
Ooh.
Oh, good fellows, if life were but a podcast, if it were simply a single episode of TalkRadar, it would be a glorious world indeed. Life is not such, and thus, woe is me. But lo!
Oh,
the TalkRadar saves my soul and brings my heart to prosperity. Let it be the beautiful simplicity of a baby's heartful giggle. or the familiar crackling...
Evidentista!
Heartful, Chris. Heartful. Or the familiar crackling of glass pants. Oh! A simple subscription will save your soul. Long live the TalkRadar. That's Ramen Dragon, by the way. God damn it to hell. So that would
feel myself slightly less.
Right. Last week's question of the week. There's the glass pants.
Just
caught up with us.
Wow. So
you can laugh out loud, Shane. Dropping your head.
Does that mean in like 20 minutes I'm going to hear a baby's laugh?
What is happening over there?
I didn't play anything for like an hour.
Good lord. Last week's question of the week was what's a game that brings back bad memories? Specifically like relationship stuff. Breakups and the like. And if you're listening to the podcast, and I know you are,
Michael, but not for much longer.
Please let me get through a sentence. I like the sound effects, but I really need to get through this specific sentence and paragraph.
Yeah.
Unobstructed. Fart.
No, I'm done.
Oh no, my hand's just on the mouse button that I can see from here. Last week's question.
All right, I'll stop.
Was about how I'm going to follow Chris home and wear his skin.
Driving Chris home.
Question 22, and as like I said, if you're listening to the podcast and you're still not in the forums and you're just kind of listening casually, go to the TalkRadar forums. It's in GamesRadar.com forums, podcast forum, TalkRadar. The thread is called Question 22, game that brings back bad memories. It is the most depressing thread I've ever read.
Wow.
Like just horrible things that happen to people and that they associate with games. Like to the point where I don't want to read a bunch of them because that will just continue this cycle.
That's an endorsement if I've ever heard one.
They're really intense, though.
There was one that was above and beyond.
There's one that's above and beyond that I'll read, but I won't say who it's from just in case, they don't want, thousands of people hearing specifically.
I really like this guy. He's really funny. He's been playing around a lot.
I did read one, though. I don't have it in front of me to read exactly who it was, but they basically played Strip Connecticut, the game for PS2.
What?
Somebody. I'm sorry I don't have the person's name. I normally was very good about that, but he played Strip Connecticut with his girlfriend, thinking, "Hey, I'll get her to strip." Lost, and ended up sitting naked on the couch with a girlfriend at the time. Losing from a game of Connecticut, which is like, wow, that's the saddest. I don't know. That was like a funny one that I could at least get a chuckle out of. It wasn't like distraught and awful. So here's
was Connecticut the one with like the bikini girls with motorcycle arms?
Yes, basically Wheelies from Return to Oz. Wheelers.
Yeah.
So this is the one. It came in a 3-part post. Game that brings back bad memories. Final Fantasy VIII.
It was epic.
It's epic. Final Fantasy VIII is the game. I agree. It brings back bad memories for me as well, but for stupider reasons than this, for sure.
For more frivolous reasons.
More frivolous reasons, for sure. Final Fantasy VIII, I got before my mother and father were fully divorced. Got through most of it. Then around that time, my dad moved out of the house. After that, my mother's partner at the time, another woman now, took a great deal of money from my family, so they split up, and I went with my mom to Austin. We left the PlayStation behind, so it's at the house associated with bad memories. And one day while I was back at that house where all this happened, my various parents gathered their things to go their separate ways. I pulled the PlayStation out of the closet, hooked it up, and beat Final Fantasy VIII. And his mom showed up, left without the PlayStation because he didn't want to bring it because he remembers him being too sad at the time to take it with him. Second post. In retrospect, though, the other things that happened in my life, like my father marrying his younger brother's ex-wife who got knocked up with both their kids, which makes them Uncle Daddy to 2 of the 3 kids, and the family friend who was a transsexual who strangled her fat girlfriend to death with her own sweater, then claiming not to have done it after going to the neighbors to hide the body. Maybe my mom splitting off from there was a good idea. Third post. Oh yeah, the transsexual... The transsexual homicide. He went to the neighbors because his fat girlfriend was too heavy for him to carry away the body to hide. And this all comes from Final Fantasy VIII.
And in our forums, by the way.
And in our forums.
GamesRadar.com, hit forums, top of the 8.
That story is now the property of the internet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't post that on Facebook. It'll be gone forever.
I was ready to jump in.
They claim copyright on anything posted on Facebook?
Yeah, I think they've kind of backed off of it now, but they changed the terms of service, so like anything that you did post or will ever post is sort of theirs permanently, basically.
No, they claim it's yours.
They claim right to use it.
I think they claim the right to use it in like promotional materials, something like that. Like if they want to take a screenshot of a random Facebook page, they can legally make it yours.
The person who had the Strip Connecticut was the Slacker 156, by the way.
I looked up Connecticut after you said that, and it's just like Google image search is just like wall-to-wall ass.
Yeah,
it's like screenshots are just ass, machinery, ass. The only thing that isn't machinery is the asses.
Oh, good. This week's question, this will be question 23. Again, it was submitted by someone. I've been really busy. I don't have the person who sent it to me. By the time I post the thread, I'll probably remember who it is, and you'll get credit in the thread. Question 23. What's the most effort you've put into getting a game? Like, what's the greatest length you've gone to see that you got a game? And for me, the first thing that comes to mind, there may be something worse than this, but not worse, but just that I worked harder at, was when Mortal Kombat first came out for Genesis and Super Nintendo. It was one of those periods where, like, I had no good reason to ask for a game. Like, I couldn't just get it because, hey, it's out, can I have it? That would not fly, so I was like, I've got to come up with an angle, and I, like, brainstormed by myself in my room, like, so I wrote up an actual contract of all the shit I was going to do if I could get this game, and I signed it, and I'm 12, I think, at the time, and I'm like, these are all the things I'm going to do, and I wrote them on, and
It's not legally binding.
I know, I'm a minor, so my parents actually held in breach of fake contract, but they held me to that shit, and I was like, I got put to work on a bunch of shit I said I was going to do, and I got the Super Nintendo version, because that's how hardcore Nintendo fan I was. I would go to my grave before I gave Sega money at that point, despite owning a Genesis anyway. That was I don't know, that's the thing where I was like, I have to have Mortal Kombat. I cannot not have Mortal Kombat. So I will work whatever I got to do. Let's make this happen. I don't know. Anyone else?
Me, I had to join the swim team.
Oh yeah.
To get Spider-Man on the Genesis because I sold my Super Nintendo to get a Genesis, and I had Altered Beast and Sonic, and got bored in 6 months. Who knew? Who knew?
Well, both of those games take about 10 minutes to beat.
Yes. It's a lot of fun over and over again. Yes. No, like my dad's like, if you join the swim team, I'll get you Spider-Man, and if you win third place, I went second place in like a regional meet. It was great. Like I had like this great tan line on my body. Like I had to wear a Speedo. Yeah. Horrible tan line. My awful legs. Won second place. Got out of the pool. Spider-Man. Quit the swim team the next day. Got my shit. Never went back to the fucking swim team. Beat everybody in that part of the state. Couldn't care less. I wanted Spider-Man on the Genesis.
I played a lot of Spider-Man for Genesis. So what a retroactively terrible game.
As a side note to that, my sister is younger than me, therefore stupid, and I convinced her to do the same stipulation to get a Genesis game that I wanted, Trampoline Terror. My sister joined the swim team for Trampoline Terror.
What is Trampoline Terror?
It's a game that's terrorizing with trampolines.
That's not a game.
But as a gymnast, she would have gotten to jump on real trampolines.
Somebody correct Brett. Trampoline Terror. Trampoline Terror.
I'm looking this up right now. Trampoline.
Look it up later. Let Shane, Scott, and Michael talk.
No, somebody can talk. Oh, no result. How you imagine that?
I have a really terrible story.
Go for it, sweetie.
Yeah. So, I'm younger than a lot of the guys in this room. And it comes to that point, you didn't have all of the systems growing up? No. I was in a family where I had to make a choice. Because we didn't have very much money. And it got to the point where after I begged for the Super Nintendo. I had a Genesis and a Game Gear. And I begged for all of those systems. And and these were like a few years apart that we got them. And, like, I remember even having to beg for the Game Gear saying that it's for the family. Like, that was
you deserve to beg for the Game Gear. Nobody. That's why the terrorists hate us, that we had Game Gears.
No. Well, anyway, the Super Nintendo. Anyway, so I had all those systems and some games with my brother. We shared the games. But then the PlayStation was coming out in 95. Parents would not spend any more money on any systems. And this was over, like, Genesis I got in, like, 91. Game Gear I probably got 92 or 93, and then Super Nintendo I think I got Christmas 94, early 95.
Every year you got a game system. It sounds like real hard times.
It was after selling other games and everything to get. Anyway, so they said, no way, you can't have the PlayStation. So I sold all of those systems and all the games for them to a collector. And this was before eBay.
I hate those collectors. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, so I made sure. Yeah, I like went through, and he actually gave pretty good prices for all of them.
Dude,
and
do an impression of him. I know you can do a good 24.
I never met. Oh, I was like Kiefer Sutherland.
Yes, or 2021.
Wait, which one's which?
Oh,
totally take your games off your hands.
Yes. Okay, go.
Okay.
Do it again.
All right, I'm sorry. I was like, what did Kiefer say in that show? I don't know. All right.
You're Shane.
Yeah, I'm Shane. Okay, so my dad went and he sold all the things to this guy. I think he was like middle-aged or whatever. And he comes back and I was like, how'd it go? And he was like, it went good. This was like in September. I'm like, where's my money for my PlayStation? December. Christmas, I open up a package for myself, Christmas present, and it's a PlayStation that I paid for. He went and, my dad,
I got one of those.
My dad took the money that I got for selling all of my systems and my brother and his games to buy the PlayStation and give it to us as a present? I could have purchased it myself that day. That was a lot of anguish. That was a few months in coming.
That is kind of shitty. Of course, if he bought you the games in the first place, he probably reasoned, well, it's actually my money, so...
Well, they were gifts. That's an asshole-ish way of thinking. That's like if you break up with someone, well, that's kind of my box of shorts I bought for you as a gift.
I want to hear more about the guy who bought your game.
I never met.
Okay, so. Shane, I'm bringing in Shane's games.
So, Michael...
He just wants to hear
Damn it!
other impression.
Wow.
You lived in Florida?
21. Okay, don't.
I don't know if I want to.
Almost 10 o'clock.
I don't know if I want to interrupt this, Brett. It's kind of going nowhere, and I want to see what nowhere looks like.
I think that's the Wii.
I'm trying to think of a story I have like this. I think probably the closest is my dad. When I was a kid, bought like a foosball table from somebody, and he grew up in Spain. Like, this was all he did as a kid. He played foosball. He was an expert foosball player, and in order to try and get me to play against him on a regular basis, he said, "If you can ever beat me with no score handicap, I will buy you a Game Boy." And so I would always try really hard. Like, it took years of playing this constantly, getting to the point where I could beat all of my friends at it easily. But finally, after like I think 2 or 3 years of constantly playing it, I beat him with no score handicap. And I was like celebrating. It's like, yes, you have to buy me a Game Boy now. And he's like, what? He's like, what? It's like, you promised to buy me a Game Boy. I did. Yes, that was like the whole thing. You know, the whole reason I've been practicing.
We were just playing for the fun.
Joking. I just wanted to get you to play. It was just a joke. Like, So
my dad.
I remember that. Not the hundreds of dollars he must have spent buying me other games, but I remember the one thing I didn't get. Which was the game.
I guess.
That was like the one thing I was forbidden to own because you'll play games all the time if we get you a Game Boy. So
it was.
What were you doing anyway? Foosballing and gaming.
Yeah.
Professional.
It's not like that's all I was doing.
Foosball is pretty awesome. I'm a
It
big
is
fan.
pretty awesome.
It is. I really like it.
It's not. Have you ever played soccer with broomsticks?
More or less, that's what broomball is, right? Pretty much.
Choice between foosball and Super Mario World, though. I don't know.
Now imagine not having ankles, and then you have foosball.
That makes so much sense. You're right.
Feet glued to shins somehow.
Legs glued together.
Oh, Scott. How
Glued to your own shins. Ow! It hurts to stand.
God, I'm so boring. I really don't have an interesting story.
You're gonna do this again.
No, what? I had a story last time, didn't I?
No, you did not. You did this last time.
What was the question last time?
Who cares? You were always like, I wish I had something. I'm Scott. I'll never share anything about myself.
That's not true at all.
I'm a private person. God forbid you ever find out anything about me. I had an ingrown hair once.
That was a well-placed sound effect. I'll give you that.
It didn't hit
no,
it.
I don't have any horrible stories. Like, all of my games were acquired through very normal means of like birthdays and Christmas and me mowing lawns and etc. No, that's really true.
What game did you have to mow the most lawns to get?
Yeah, that was the story I was going to tell, which is still not very interesting. When I was like, the only thing.
Chris is so mad he's taken off his headset.
I know, he took off his headset to yell at him.
I had the most perfect time in my life growing up.
Chris, put your headset on!
I never said that. No, that's the thing. Like, I got, a couple games for Christmas, a couple games for birthday, or whatever, a couple games I was able to afford myself. That was it. I didn't play that many games. I didn't have that many games.
From 7 years old until 14, he has no memories, apparently.
More or less.
God damn it, don't look at me and smile. I really want you to come back.
Sadly, I just looked up Trampoline Terror and it exists.
Oh,
no.
Market.
Wow. From space, a menacing fortress appears in the sky, surrounding it a trampoline sidewalk armed with bombs.
Hey, Elson, get this.
Some trampolines you can only jump on once.
So Chris didn't make up that story.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Scott, you don't have anything to add to this?
The only thing I can think of was that I had a friend who was wealthier than I was and had a lot more games, and so I just bargained with him to get his old shitty games that he didn't want anymore, and it involved various things, whatever he wanted me to do, and it was like stupid little kid things. We were like 9 or 10 at the time. That's about it. I don't even remember specifically. There was
the
I had to
was.
be his slave for a week or something, but when you're 10, that doesn't mean anything.
Like, I guess I'll bring you all the vanilla wafers you want. If Mario World is on the line.
Yeah, but it was never games that were that awesome. It wasn't Sonic 2. It was Sonic Pinball. It was you know what I mean. So it wasn't that.
I will give you Pit Fighter.
Excellent game.
If you milk my dog.
That's it, though. I got nothing on this one.
Let's get out of here. Fine. Let's get out of here. Teases. Everybody get them on. I'm going to drink the whole time you're doing them.
Next week, we're doing another podcast.
Next week, I will not be on the podcast. I will be next week.
Where you go?
I'm going to Japan.
Or what?
I'll be in Japan seeing undisclosed game from undisclosed company that can't say yet.
Okay.
I think it'll be news in March.
It's Konami and it's Metal Gear Solid 5.
It's Metal Gear Solid 5 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part you didn't know.
Yes. One is on PSP.
Yep.
One is on PS4. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Metal Gear Solid 5 Sustenance is on PS1.
Exclusive details coming next week on TalkRadar. I like this.
The fruits of that labor will probably not be felt for several weeks when I can actually say what that is.
I already forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah, sure. But going up this week, I posted the Death by the Decade evolution of dying in video games. I thought that was kind of fun to research how it started out. You would flicker and die, and it meant absolutely nothing to you as a player. Just all right, I'm dead. Next player, bring it in. Or deaths evolved today and are now they'll do something in the first person, like Call of Duty 4 or The Darkness or Jericho or games that All right, Michael.
I'm working on it'll be up by the time this goes live, the pathetic history of Dan Hibiki. A loving profile of the best and most powerful Street Fighter character of all time. He thinks.
I'm by the time this is up, you'll see the 13 biggest things influencing games today. I say read it.
13? It was 12 last I heard.
I brought it to Cheryl for art requests, and she said, "What about this?" And I was like, "God, why did I do that?"
Good.
The answer is babies.
Babies.
That's true. Next week I'm going to EA to see Dante Inferno.
Me? Oh, Need for Speed. Probably another feature. You may get another podcast for week to week right now.
I'm writing a magazine. Woo!
Tom.
That's pretty much it.
When's the next one?
The next one we just shipped last week. No, 2 weeks ago. So it should be on newsstands next week, a few days after you hear this, which is the covers 150 games coming to the PS3 in the next couple years. And
yeah, but
we talk about everything, and there's a lot of
Brett,
stuff.
Shane, Michael are in. Who's in? One of these guys is in magazine, right?
I don't think so, actually. I'm not sure we had any games for deaf people in this issue.
Yeah.
Who's in the XP, Tom?
Wasn't there Chronicles of Riddick issue?
That was one idea, but that didn't end up.
Okay.
But there is a Chronicles of Riddick feature in there. There's also a Singularity feature. There's a bunch of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in this issue. There are a lot of pages. Very few heads.
Go buy it. All right, let's get the
hell out of here. Wait. Transatlantic communication is a failure.
I can't believe you remember to say that.
Nice.